Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtike. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Manchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are going to continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3. We are on chapter 2, text 11, where Vidura and Vidura has asked a few questions about Krishna to Uddhav. So reading on, Pradarshaya tapta tapasam avitripta darsham nirnam adayantar adhadyastu swabimban lokalochanam. Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is, due to not executing required penance. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word avitripta darsham is most significant. The conditioned souls in the material world are all trying to satisfy their senses in various ways, but they have failed to do so because it is impossible to be satisfied by such efforts. The example of the fish on land is very appropriate. If one takes a fish from the water and puts it on the land, it cannot be made happy by any amount of offered pleasure. The spirit soul can be happy only in the association of the Supreme Living Being, the personality of Godhead, and nowhere else. The Lord, by his unlimited causeless mercy, has innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the Brahmajyoti sphere of the spiritual world. And in that transcendental world, there is an unlimited arrangement for the unlimited pleasure of the living entities. So we here, the conditioned souls in the material world, we are time and time again trying to find happiness by engaging in sense pleasure. We are thinking that maybe if I eat more, maybe if I travel more, maybe if I listen to something else, or maybe if I speak of something else, or maybe if I change my circumstance, we'll be happy. But we have seen, even though we might find some enjoyment of some happiness, it's very, very short-lived. And also, it does not fill our hearts to the degree that we want to experience the pleasure. The pleasure we experience in relation to the effort that we put in is very, very little. We put in a lot of effort to get a bit. So the example Prabhupada is giving is that of a fish which is being taken out of water. Now, if we take out a fish out of water and put it in the best 5-star hotel and give it a nice facial and a nice massage, and in the background, very nice music is playing, there's a nice buffet laid out in front, there is nice aromatic aroma in the air, will the fish be happy? The fish will be suffering, struggling. The fish will say, I don't want anything. I just need to go back in the water. Similarly, we are trying to find happiness in this material world, trying to make our bodies comfortable as possible. But because we are spirit souls, we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, we can be happy only when we are in association of the Supreme Lord and nowhere else. No matter how much sense pleasure we engage him, it cannot touch the heart, because sense pleasure is related to the body. Sure, the body might feel some comfort, the senses might feel some enjoyment, but the soul is still hankering. Still we feel something is lacking. And what is that? Our association with Krishna, our relationship with Krishna. And Krishna, he has created so many innumerable Vaikuntha planets. And if we can just go to any one of these planets, we can experience unlimited happiness, the happiness that we are hankering for, the happiness that we have been looking for. Only we don't know where to look for it. We are looking for this happiness in material objects. We are thinking if we have more money, I'll be happier. If I have a better house, I'll be happier. If I don't have any debts, I'll be happier. If my health was better, I'll be happier. You know, we have all this, but it's only when we are connected with Krishna can we find happiness, because that's the nature of the soul. Is that okay? Because this is like quite a central point.
Very true.
Okay. The Lord himself comes to display his transcendental pastimes, typically represented at Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. He appears just to attract the conditioned souls back to Godhead, back home to the eternal world. So Krishna, he comes, he's, as we have been reading in the Krishna book, how he's showing us his loving dealings with the residents of Vrindavan, with the Brajbasis. So Krishna comes as himself, Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka. Why does he come? To attract our hearts, to show us, see, this is how I'm enjoying with my intimate associates. Come and enjoy with me. He's giving us open invitation. Come. But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not attracted by such pastimes of the Lord. But you know, we have so many material desires. Our consciousness is so covered. In spite of seeing so much loving pastimes, the central point of these pastimes is just love. There is no exploitation. There's no business being happening in these dealings. It's all just stemming from pure love. But we, in the conditioned world, because our hearts are very hard, we have too many material desires, we do not have enough piety, we are not attracted by such pastimes. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that only those who have completely surpassed the way of sinful reaction can engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The entire Vedic way of ritualistic performances is to put every conditioned soul on the path of piety. By strict adherence to the prescribed principles for all orders of social life, one can attain the qualities of truthfulness, control of the mind, control of the senses, forbearance, etc., and can be elevated to the plane of rendering pure devotional service to the Lord. So the Vedas, that's why they prescribe that no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, no, what's that? No intoxication. So why all these no's? It's not for us to be deprived of or feeling that, a feeling of deprivation, but because such activities take us away from Krishna. They increase our ignorance and keep us longer here in the material world. With that, we give up our quality of compassion, of truthfulness, of mind and sense control. And so then we are so much more attached to the material world, it becomes impossible to get out of this material world. So that's why the Vedas, they have these particular do's and don'ts. And if we really want to get out of the material world, we should follow them. And then what will happen? We can be elevated. We can engage in pure devotional service to the Lord. Only by such a transcendental vision are one's material hankerings fully satisfied. We have so many material hankerings, so many material desires. One desire is not fulfilled, there are so many other hundreds of desires are being born again in our heart and mind. But the only way the soul can be satisfied and this cycle of material desires can be stopped only when we engage in pure devotional service, which begins by hearing and chanting. The more we can hear and chant, to that degree, our material desires will be, we will feel satisfied, we will feel happy. Because happiness is with the soul, not this body. The body is dead matter. The body cannot feel happiness. It's only the soul can feel the happiness. The consciousness is with the soul. And we can feel truly happy, blissful, only when we are connected to Krishna. When the Lord was present, persons who were able to satisfy their material hankerings by seeing him in true perspective were thus able to go back with him to his kingdom. But those persons who were unable to see the Lord as he is remained attached to material hankerings and were not able to go back home, back to Godhead. So Krishna, when he was here on this earth, not everyone could understand that he's God. The ones who could understand his position, they went back. They don't need to come back to this material world. And the people who were not able to understand Krishna as he is, they're still in the material world. When the Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original eternal form, as stated in this verse. So the Lord's body is Satchidananda. It's not like we have this material body made of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, and that this body, we have to give up this body and then take on another body. No, Krishna is not like that. Krishna, when he comes to the material world, his body is Satchidananda. It is still Satchidananda. He does not have a material body. We also, the souls, we as the soul actually are Satchidananda. But right now, because we are in this material world, we have to take on this material bodies. When we go back to the spiritual world, we do not have a material body. The Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body, as is generally misunderstood by the conditioned souls. This statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. The Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden of the non-believing asuras, and after doing this, he disappeared from the world's eyes. So Krishna comes with a specific purpose. He says, sadhunaya, paritranaya, sadhunam, vinashaya, chaduskritam. So there were so many demoniac kings that Mother Earth was being burdened. So he came to kill those demoniac kings and to attract the hearts of the devotees, to have loving pastimes with his devotees. And after his mission was accomplished, he left this world. It doesn't mean that he does not exist anymore. It's just like the sun. The sun is over here right now, arisen. And then in America right now, it's night. So if an American says, oh, the sun does not exist anymore, but then that would be foolishness because the sun is here. So same, when Krishna he disappears from our vision, it's only he's disappearing from our vision, but he always exists. He's eternal. He's the supreme eternal. Is that okay?
Yes.
It means we don't have to detach from the material world, but we have to increase the bhakti. Is it true, like this way?
I'm sorry?
How to detach from the material world? We have to increase the bhakti?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The more we hear and chant, then automatically to that degree our attachment to the material world will be lesser. The
And
more
word, yeah, and one word you used, conditional soul. What is conditional soul?
Conditional soul is right now we, the living entities who are in the material world, we are conditioned to thinking that I'm this body. And that's why we are called conditioned souls.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
we are actually soul, we are actually pure soul, right? Satchidananda. But right now we are thinking we are the body. We are acting as if we are the body. So we are conditioned. And then when we go back to the spiritual world, then we are liberated. We are no more conditioned.
Okay. Nice explanation.
Thank you. Thank you. So there are these, the pure devotees. The pure devotees, even though they are in this material world, they are not conditioned because their consciousness is all the time with Krishna. And today is the appearance day of one such pure devotee, one great devotee, one of the acharyas in our line, in the Guru Parampara. His name is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was here, he was born in somewhere in Bengal, I think. And then he was in India during the British times. And he was so good, even in his duties, not only in, he wrote many bhajans and many books. Many of the bhajans that we sing and the songs we sing are from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he was a high court judge in the British rule at that time. And he was so good that any ordinary judge would take maybe 2-3 months to decide the case. He could do that in a matter of few minutes. You know, he was a pioneer in Krishna consciousness, to spread Krishna consciousness to the West. In all those years in 1800s, he had sent an English book out, I think to Canada, to a library in Canada. And so the pure devotee, when he's here in the material world, he's not conditioned. He's not conditioned because he is situated firmly in his position that I am an eternal servant, part and parcel of Krishna. His consciousness is fully pure. You know, his mind is always engaged in serving Krishna. All his activity is for pleasure of Krishna. So he is not conditioned, but we are conditioned because we are thinking we are the body. Let me make my body as comfortable as I can. Is that okay? Yes?
Yes. And he was also the guru of Srila Prabhupada?
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the guru. He was the father of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Okay, so he is the father, right? The Vinod is the father and Saraswati is the guru himself, right?
Yeah, and so if you see the Guru Parampara, when we have the pictures of Guru Parampara, there's Srila Prabhupada. Next to Srila Prabhupada is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Next to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. Next to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And then next to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur is Jagannath Das Babaji. So it's coming, the gurus, who's the guru, who's the guru, who's the guru. That's our parampara, right? So these five are there. Of course, it goes to Krishna, but not all pictures are displayed on the altar. So, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was Bhakti Vinod Thakur's son, but Bhakti Vinod Thakur told him, you take initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disciple. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So he is one of the great acharyas in our parampara, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And he has given us all this such nice kirtan, bhajans, prayers that we sing. So many. Jai Radha Madhav is also written by him. The Sharanagati prayers are by him. Gurudev, that song is by him. It's very beautiful, and his mood is very, very good. So we can pray to him today to give us mercy, to give us a mercy, so we can also have a drop of devotion for Krishna, a drop of love for Krishna. Yeah, so when the pure devotees come to this material world, they are not conditioned. They are not like us ordinary living entities. They are eternally liberated. They're coming from the spiritual world to tell us about Krishna, to help us develop our love for Krishna, and to take us back to Krishna. So they are not conditioned. They are eternally liberated. We are eternally conditioned. Is that okay?
Yes, perfectly fine.
So reading on text 12. Yan martya lila upayekam swayoga maya balam darshayata grihitam vishmapanam swasya cha sobhagardehe param padam bhushana bhushanangam. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yoga Maya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. In conformity with the Vedic hymns, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam, the personality of Godhead is more excellent than all other living beings within all the universes in the material world. He is the chief of all living entities. No one can surpass him or be equal to him in wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, or renunciation. So Krishna, he's maintaining us. He's the one who's maintaining us here in this material world and also in the spiritual world. It's not that, okay, once I give up my body and once I am liberated, that I don't need to care about Krishna anymore. Bye-bye Krishna, and I become Krishna myself. No, Krishna is maintaining each and every living entity, be it in the material world or in the spiritual world. And so that's why he's the chief of all living entities. Everything belongs to him. And then we might say, okay, this person has more money. Let me try to make more money than him. And so we try to make more money than him. But there's always going to be somebody who has more money than me. And then who has the most? That's Krishna. Nobody is richer than Krishna. How's that? Because he's the proprietor of everything. He is creating all these universes at his will. And when he wants, he just, all the universes go back into him. All the gold, all the jewels, anything that we see, all belong to Krishna. All the spiritual world belongs to Krishna, the eternal spiritual world. So there is no one more who's richer than Krishna. Strength, he's the strongest. We can try to be stronger than somebody here or there, but Krishna is the strongest. Same with fame. He's famous all over the material world and the spiritual world. Beauty, his beauty is unsurpassable. No one is more beautiful than Krishna. Knowledge, he's giving us the Vedas. He's giving us the Vedas. And renounced, in spite of having everything, he's unattached. We get a little bit and we are so attached to it. You know, we might have a little knowledge or some talent or something. We get so attached to it. But Krishna, he's not attached to anything. When Lord Krishna was within this universe, he seemed to be a human being because he appeared in a matter just suitable for his pastimes in the mortal world. He did not appear in human society in his Vaikuntha feature with 4 hands because that would not have been suitable for his pastimes. So Krishna, why did he come in his 2-handed form? To show us how he's having his pastimes in Golok Vrindavan. If he would have come in his Narayan form, then all we would be able to see is people praying to him in awe and reverence. We wouldn't be able to see the sweet dealings between Krishna and the Brajbasis, his friends, his parents, the gopis, the cows, the peacocks, the deer. We wouldn't be able to see that. But in spite of his appearing as a human being, no one was or is equal to him in any respect, in any of the 6 different opulences. Everyone is more or less proud of his opulence in this world. But when Lord Krishna was in human society, he excelled all his contemporaries within the universe. So no one is greater than Krishna. And we had the discussion that are the incarnations of Krishna, do they have all 6 opulences? Yes, because they're all incarnations of Krishna. It's just that they show the particular power which is needed for that pastime. But it doesn't mean that they do not have the complete power as Krishna has. Because it is Krishna himself appearing as an incarnation. It's nobody different. So, when the Lord's pastimes are visible to the human eye, they are called prakata, and when they're not visible, they are called aprakata. In fact, the Lord's pastimes never stop, just as the sun never leaves the sky. The sun is always in its right orbit in the sky, but it is sometimes visible and sometimes invisible to our limited vision. So when Krishna is there in any particular planet, and on that planet, the inhabitants, the people of that planet can see the pastimes, it's called prakata. And when Krishna leaves that planet, or his pastimes are no more visible to the people around him, his pastimes are called aprakata. But Krishna's pastimes are eternally going on. They never stop. Eternally Krishna is appearing in one universe or the other, performing his pastimes. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord are always current in one universe or another. And when Lord Krishna disappeared from the transcendental abode of Dwarka, it was simply a disappearance from the eyes of the people there. It should not be misunderstood that his transcendental body, which is just suitable for the pastimes in the mortal world, is in any way inferior to his different expansions in the Vaikuntha Lokas. So Krishna came himself, as himself, his 2-handed form. It's not that his Vishnu form is greater than his 2-handed form. Many people have that misunderstanding. They say that, oh no, because Vishnu has 4 hands, so his form is greater than Krishna's form, Shyamsundar Krishna, because he has only 2 hands. No, Krishna is Satchidananda. This is Krishna's original form. His body manifested in the eternal, in the material world is transcendental, par excellence, in the sense that his pastimes in the mortal world excel his mercy displayed in the Vaikuntha Lokas. In the Vaikuntha Lokas, the Lord is merciful toward the liberated or Nitya Mukta living entities. But in his pastimes in the mortal world, he's merciful even to the fallen souls who are Nitya Bhada or conditioned forever. So Lord Narayan, he has his pastimes in the Vaikuntha Loka with his 4 arms, and he's giving mercy to the Nitya Mukta. The Nitya Mukta living entities are the living entities who are ever liberated. They don't come to this material world. They know they are rightly situated in their position as eternal souls, as parts and parcels of Krishna. And they have their dealings, they have their relationship with Krishna. So when in Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan is just dealing with the Vaikuntha Vasis. But when Krishna comes here to the material world, he is having mercy even to the Nitya Bada, we, the conditioned souls. He's coming to attract our hearts. So many people could see Krishna when he came. Not all of them were pure devotees. The 6 excellent opulences which he displayed in the mortal world by the agency of his internal potency, Yoga Maya, are rare even in the Vaikuntha Lokas. So in Vaikuntha Loka also, Lord Narayan does not have such loving dealings with the Vaikuntha Vasis. Over there, the mood is more awe and reverence. He's the Lord, we are his servants. And so the mood is always of prayer, veneration, high respect, but not like how the friends are playing with Krishna hide and seek, or they're, going together to graze the cows. It's not like that. So the excellence of his Rasa-Lila at Vrindavan and his householder life with 16,000 wives is wonderful, even for Narayan in Vaikuntha, and is certainly so for other living entities within this mortal world. His pastimes are wonderful even for other incarnations of the Lord, such as Sri Ram, Nrsimha, and Varaha. His opulence was so super excellent that his pastimes were adored even by the Lord of Vaikuntha, who is not different from Lord Krishna himself. So Krishna's pastimes are so attractive that even Lord Narayan wants to see his pastimes. Because it's all loving dealings, it's based on pure love. That's all. And that's why it's so attractive. That's why it's so sweet. Madhurya, it's just based on love. That's why it's so sweet. Is that okay?
Yes.
So shall we stop here for Bhagavatam?
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.